What is going on, everybody? I hope everybody's enjoying their Memorial Weekend. If you're new to my channel, my name is Black Apino the Apple Guy. Today I am going to be talking about the best gear that you can get for your GoPro. And this is going to be whether you have the Hero 7, the Hero 8, or even the previous models, the 6 and the 5, or even the Hero White and the Hero Silver. Now, I have done previous videos of these individually wise and just some, kind of recommendations. And I figured it would be time to kind of refresh that video, as with quarantine kind of easing up restrictions in most people's areas and most people's states. A lot of people are buying GoPros and they are using those and they're taking them on vacations, whether it's a trip to the beach or out hiking. And today I thought I would just kind of go over some of those good accessories that I think you should get that would definitely maximize your GoPro experience. Now, the first thing we're going to be talking about is going to be the SD card, the micro SD card. So depending on how you buy your GoPro, usually if you buy it in a bundle, depending on where you buy the GoPro at, usually they won't really give you the best micro SD card. And by the best I mean typically they'll just give you just a simple Ultra Plus, which are the micro SD cards that are the red and the gray, and these are good for those who just want to shoot just standard HD, and standard HD is obviously just 1080. But if you're looking to up your video recording and you want to shoot at higher resolutions and higher frame rates, then you're going to need something that gives you a little bit better read and write speeds, so that when you're doing your videos they look a lot more smoother. And that's where these come in. These are known as Extreme Plus. These are ones that I have in both my GoPros as well as in my Panasonic. So right now, this one that I have here is the 128. This is what I currently shoot in my GoPro, and as well as in my Panasonic G85 I have one, and in my Lumix G7 I have this particular style, the Extreme Plus, because it gives me better read and write times, as well as the ability to do 4K video at a much better look. So basically it makes my videos look a little bit more smoother as opposed to just full HD. Trying to do full HD using 4K resolution, it's not really going to look the best, but this has a much better read and write speed when it comes to doing any type of video work, and I highly recommend using these particular ones. They're not as expensive. They're usually, if they buy them on sale, this was I think about $35 for a 128, which is not bad considering that they normally are like $70, and you can usually get these on sale at Best Buy or at Amazon for around that price. I would definitely spend the money and not do a 32 but do a 64. Do the minimum 64 when it comes to doing any type of video recording with a GoPro, and it doesn't matter if you're doing it in 1080 at 60 frames, 30 frames, or 120 frames, or whatever. 64 is literally the lowest you should go with these, as a 32 really doesn't give you enough space to do a lot of anything, let alone take videos and pictures at the same time. With the 64, it gives you marginally enough space to do anything in 1080, but if you plan on shooting anything in 4K, you really want to opt into at least the 128. That way it does give you some space for doing that. And I'll have a link in the description on some good deals on where you can get these at for these. So this is definitely considered is what is known as a battery pack. And now I bought this at Best Buy. This is a dual charging battery pack, and the beauty about this, there is the USB-C way, and then there's the micro HDMI way, which is actually pretty cool. I actually use the USB-C plug-in when I'm doing it because it charges much faster. And again, when you are buying a GoPro, it does come with a battery, so I would recommend buying another battery, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of video recording, whereas you can just take this, plug it in. You just take your supplied cord that comes with it, and you literally can just plug this into a battery bank and charge this while you are recording. And that way when the battery runs dead on that one, you simply just pull that out, take this, plug in your other one, and then plug that in and charge it. And I'll have a link in the description on this as well. It's very handy. When I went to California and I was attending a convention, I actually had 3 of the batteries, and this definitely helped because, again, wall charging is nice, but you simply just taking this with you and plugging it into a battery pack when you are on the go definitely a plus for that. Now these are known as ND filters, so if you're familiar with ND filters for like DSLR cameras and mirrorless, same concept, only it comes with the GoPro as well. Now the differences between these and other ND filters, especially when it comes to the GoPros, is that when you had the Hero 5 and the Hero 6, you had to literally take off this piece right here in order to actually add one of these on. Now with the newer versions of these, you actually don't even have to do that. So you can just simply just take your ND filter, take it, stick it on, and there you go. And that's one that I have on here is a polarizer. So say you're out in the middle somewhere and there's a lot of sun and it's just kind of messing with your video, simply just adding this on would kind of remove a lot of that glare and that brightness that you would otherwise be there and that was present if you didn't have it. I use the polarizer and I just use just the normal ND8. So this is just kind of a neutral, kind of more flat, it's more of a flat version of a ND filter. So it just makes everything in the picture, it makes the color look neutral. So if you ever want to kind of color grade your videos, depending on if you do that or not, and this will focus on it. So this will, so what this does is this color grades your video, basically makes it neutral. So if you wanted to do any type of color grading with this, then you can do that with this. I've never really used the ND8 GR. Not really sure what the GR stands for. I just strictly use the ND8 and the polarizer. And again, depending on where you live and how you do your videos, obviously if you live in California or someplace where it's sunny a lot and you're outside a lot, then the polarizer would definitely help in that case. If you're in a little bit more of a darker area, or if it's too bright in a certain area and you want it, and it doesn't involve the sun, but you're just in a brightly lit room, then using a simple ND filter will kind of just blank out a lot of that brightness, kind of make it more neutral, and then you can kind of add a little bit of your touches to it if you wanted to. It's definitely something I would recommend for using your GoPro. And again, with these, you don't really have to take off the front lens. You just simply just slide this on, and that's how that works. We'll have a link in the description on where you can get this at. I bought this at Best Buy for I believe around 30 some odd bucks, I think is what I paid for it. It's been a while since I've had one of these, but I will have a link in the description for that. Next up, I'm going to talk about, this is a smart remote. Now this is different than the previous version of the one that we had before. This one actually is improved over the previous version. I think I had the last one 4 or 5 years ago, I think. This one's a much more improved version of the smart remote. Now the reason why you would use a smart remote is, say you wanted to do time lapses, or you wanted to do a hyperlapse and you want to hold it around, or you have it in an area where you want to capture specific scenes. You would pair this with your GoPro, and it works in the same way as the app would work on your phone. You press this mode. The mode button allows you to switch between video, photo, time-lapse, and motion-lapse. And then you have the settings where you can actually change the aspect of the frames per second or the resolution. It's definitely pretty cool. And it comes with this little key thing, as I like to call it a key. Simply what you do is you would remove this. There's a little switch right there. You just simply pull down, pull that out, and you can either stick this in your pocket or you can Velcro it to something. It's got a little strap right here that you can actually Velcro this to. It actually straps to a hand strap, and you can actually have it wearing around your wrist like you would a watch or something like that. That's pretty cool. Or you can take it with this, which allows you to just put on a keychain, and then you would just kind of hang on your keychain if you want to walk around with it in your pocket or just hanging off your backpack or something like that. It just depends on how you want to do this. And then to charge it, it's pretty simple. You just take the supplied little USB thing. This is this right here. This is the simple cord, and this is the USB port right here. You take this. You want to make sure that the GoPro portion is facing up. You simply just pull on the latch down. Take this. Then you just, and when you hear it click, that's when it is in. And then you just take this and then you just plug it in, and that's pretty much how that works. Very useful tool. I'll have a link in the description on this one. I've used this numerous amounts of time, especially when I'm doing any type of vloggings and I have it mounted on something. Then I will just simply use my remote and hit the record, because it'll always be on whatever setting you had it last. So if you like to shoot everything in 4K at 30 frames a second, simply just turn this on, It'll stay on whatever setting you had, and then hit the record, and then when you're done, you turn off. It turns off the remote as well as the GoPro itself. Very handy tool. I recommend this. The next, this is a suction mounting GoPro. These are pretty handy. I love these things. When I have done GoPro comparisons, I have 2 of these mounted with 2 GoPros, and then I do them side by side. So for those who've always wanted to know how I do my GoPro comparisons, especially on top of my vehicles, I'm using these, 2 of them. One for one GoPro, the other one for the other one, and then I just hit record on one, and then I use the smart remote for the other one, and then that's it. Or usually I'll just hit record on both of them at the same time, since I'm already up there. And that is it. And then it'll suction mount to literally anything. You just simply just place it on what you want, where it says press, you just press down on it, and then it'll press down on that, and then you just bring that latch down, and it locks it into place. It's not going to go anywhere. It's on there, which is suction mounted. And you can clean this off if you want to. It's probably good to do it every once in a while because it does tend to collect dust. And obviously, you know, anything with dust when it comes to suction, it doesn't tend to stick well. So you can wipe it off with a wet towel, let it dry off. And it does have the ability to switch out different types of connections. So this is the one that I usually will always use. But if I want to use a control arm, I simply would just twist this just like that. Then there's a screw. I push that out, pull this out, put in another attachment, through the screw back in, and then I would just simply just make sure it's on there nice and tight, and then that's it. And then I still have the ability to, if I wanted to adjust it, screw it, unscrew it a little, and I can move it up and down if I wanted to, just like that. But I wouldn't really recommend doing that, though. Again, it does tend to make it a little bit difficult. It's easy to do the adjustments from the GoPro frame itself, as it has its own little buckle there. So that's another tool that I definitely think you'll love. I'll have a link in the description for that. And now we're going to go on to the El Grande.
Now the next thing I'm going to be talking about is this. This is known as the El Grande. Now this is basically, I guess you could say, it's a selfie pole. This extends about 38 inches. So roughly 3 feet 2 inches, and it shrinks down to about 15 inches, so about 1 foot and 1 inch. So what's cool about this is, say you wanted to do a selfie with you and a group of your friends and you're out and about. Well, it's pretty simple to use. You just take your GoPro with your frame, you stick it in, make sure it clicks, push in the little button right there. That's just to make sure that it stays in there. Now this little screw here allows you to kind of move the GoPro around. As you can see right here, there is a little ball right there. You simply just loosen this up, and it allows you to, as you can see, I can spin it in any way I want. If I wanted to do a downward action and hold it up like this, then that's all I have to do. As you can see, when you extend it, it's pretty simple. You just twist to the right, pull out, keep pulling out, and then when you are done extending, you just turn it to the left, and as you can see, that is pretty much it. Now you can do this for pretty much any scenario if you wanted to. Say you're out on the pier and you want to get something below the pier, you just pull this out, extend it out as far as it can go. Again, you get 3 feet 2 inches, and then you just position your GoPro, and then that's it. Now if you want to get a much wider angle of you and your group of friends, or you're out in a party and you want to get a group of people that are just there, you will just take this, extend it as far as you can, and then you just sit there and do the video or the photo. And again, that's also great with combination with the smart remote. So again, like I said, this has its usefulness. So you have this extended and you want to hit the record button, but it's way up there. You just take your smart remote, hit the record, make sure that they're paired, hit the record, and then that's it. And then when you're done, you just sit there and hit record again, and it automatically stops. And again, this thing is very useful. And then if you need to get a much more closer without a whole bunch of people in the background, you just simply just right again, extend it. It's a little bit shorter. I think it's about half, probably about 2 feet. And then again, and then that's it. You set your selfie stick just like that. Now they call it an El Grande, but it's really more of a, just a kind of, I guess, a glorified GoPro selfie stick, but it does have its usefulnesses. Now, the one thing that I noticed on this that I didn't notice before is on the bottom, it actually has a thread. Now, what does that mean? That means that you can literally take this, set it on a tripod or pretty much a tripod, and you can sit there and talk to it as if it was like your regular camera. So it's definitely a pretty cool tool. I don't know if it's an essential or an essential tool, I guess, for GoPros, but it does make doing a lot of open parties. It does do a lot of, if you want to get a lot of more people in the picture or in the video, and you need to extend it out. Instead of you having to pull out your arm as far as you can, you just take this, pull it out, extend it as far as you need to. If you need to go a little bit further out, then you just pull. Again, this extends out to 3 feet 2 inches, and it closes up at 1 foot and 2 inches. It gives you a lot more berth. The next thing I'm going to talk about is this. This is known as an El Grande tool. Now, basically what this is in a way, it's kind of like a GoPro's version of a selfie stick. It extends up to 3 feet 2 inches, and when it's normal, it's about 1 foot and 2 inches. So you basically would just take your GoPro, mount it on this, and there's a lot of uses for it. So say for instance, you are out and you're out in the wilderness and you want to get a picture or a video of you and your surroundings. You would just pull this out. You simply twist to the right, extend it all the way out to maximum. And then this is your control for this. As you can see, there's a little round ball there. This allows you to kind of move your GoPro in any position that you want, whether it's vertical like that, if you want to get a more down angle, or if you want to just do straight and do it like that. But there are tons of different angles that you can do this at, and that's how that would work. And then when you are done, you just simply just twist it again, and that's it. Now, it does take a little bit of manhandling, because when I first got it, I couldn't extend it. It felt like if I twisted it too much, I was going to like break this. But it does take a little bit of wiggling and jerry-rigging. But once you eventually get it loosened and tightened, it pretty much is pretty easy. You don't have to worry about breaking it. It's actually built pretty well. So this is basically, I wouldn't say it's an essential GoPro tool, but it's definitely something that I would take along with me on my last trip when I was in Santa Monica and I was on the pier. I took this and actually just dipped it below the pier and just kind of scrolled around. It's actually very useful. And I didn't really do it in more of the open, when seeing what's going on around me. But beyond that, this thing is very cool. It's very useful. And another thing that I noticed on it is that it has a thread. So as you can see right there, you can take this and you can literally thread this onto a tripod, and you can use it in a vlogging type of style, although I've never really used it that way. I was kind of surprised that it even had that. I didn't even know it had that until last year. So it's actually kind of cool. So you can buy a low level or very low sitting tripod, mount this on that, and then you can extend it, and then there you go. There's your tripod with your GoPro, and that's it. So that's a pretty cool tool to use. Again, I wouldn't call it an essential, but it's definitely something that I would definitely get. This here is known as the GoPro Seeker. Now, this is a backpack that is specifically designed for GoPros and for all of your gears. So you can take a laptop, not a very big one, maybe about a 15-inch, 14 you definitely could put in, iPad. Anything bigger than that, I don't believe it'll fit well in this. It has tons of different features. So we're just going to start with the back first. So this actually, and I didn't even know this had this, it actually has a camo back on it. So there's a zipper right here. You simply would just zip that. You would just basically stick your camo thing right there. As you can see, the little water thing, you just stick your camo pack into that, and I believe it would just come out through somewhere in here. And that is pretty much what that is. Now, I've never really used a camo back, but it does give you that option of doing that. As you can see, there's a little hole right where my finger's at, right there. That's where you would stick the straw when it would use that. And then that's how that is. Like I said, I didn't know this was there the first time I did a review on this. Now, on the straps, as you can notice, there's going to be two things. One, this here is a mount for your GoPro. So yes, you can mount your GoPro on the strap. Pretty simple. You would just Take your GoPro, take your mount, just like this. You would just slide it in, and then clamps. And then when you are wearing your GoPro, you just simply just twist the dial up, make sure it's as high as it can go, and that is it. And then you just hit the record button, and you basically are recording as you're walking. I did this with my GoPro Hero 5. Obviously with the Hero 5 and the Hero 6, it didn't have the hyper smooth stability that the 7 and the 8 have, so the video was a little bit shaky. But with the Hero 7 and using this, it's no problem whatsoever. So that is what that is. It's actually pretty cool. And another thing that you can use is a chest mount. Now, when you buy the Seeker, it does come with a chest mount. So it will come with something like this. And how you attach these, because when I figured out, I couldn't figure out how to attach this myself. It was pretty weird at first. But on the ends of these, you'll have these like little, like, I guess they're like little attachments. You would just take these, and you see these little blue attachments right there. You just take that, put it in, and hear it click. That means that it's been attached firmly. And you would just take the other one, and then you would just again do the same thing. Take it, line it with the blue little hole, put it in there, slide it down, and then that's that. And then when you put it on, you simply would just take this, and you would wrap these around these little blue holes right here. So they basically would just kind of clip onto that, and that's how that works. And then you just simply just adjust it. I'm not a big fan of the chest things, because obviously not everybody's of equal size, so sometimes it's a little bit more difficult for larger people to wear that. Even if you loosen it up, it's still difficult. So if you were looking at a way of mounting your GoPro and having it do the forward and just wanting to do video, it's easy just to simply just use the shoulder of the shoulder strap to do that. It's much easier, less hassle and painful. And then it has a pretty good breathable mesh between you and your back, so your back doesn't have to worry about getting all sweaty and whatnot. So that is that for that. Now on the sides, you're going to have what look like little type of carrier, or like little holder things. This is what you would use to hold your El Grande in. Now you would just take your El Grande. There's little loops on the end of these. So you see this little loop right there, and see there's this right here, the little hook. This hook attaches to this loop. So you would just take your El Grande, you would take it, and then you would just literally just wrap it around this. Now it just takes some getting used to, some handling, but once you figure it out, it becomes much easier. You would just take this, wrap it around that, take this other end, and then you would wrap it around this piece, and then make sure it's securely attached, and there you go. Now another cool thing about this is, again, remember I said that with this you can literally move the head around if you want to. So I like to call this feature kind of like the Predator feature, because you can literally just take your GoPro and just mount it literally right on the top. And I guess you could say it's kind of like the way that, kind of like the Predator, how he's got his gun mounted on his shoulder. Basically, that's what you can do this with. It's actually pretty cool. Again, I've done this with the Hero 5 with both of them, and since it didn't have hyper smooth stability, it did make the video a little bit shaky. But say you want to do this and you're walking around, you want to get some footage, but you don't want to attach it to your shoulder mount like this, then you would just take your El Grande, stick it to that, and that's how that works. It's actually pretty cool. It's definitely useful in a lot of different ways. So that is one thing that you can do with it. And again, this will also have different mounts for your water bottles and everything else. So you can store water bottles. You can't really store anything really big in terms of large water bottles. You can do maybe about a 16 or a 20 liter. You can't really do like the really fat ones, because it really doesn't really stretch out as far as most backpacks would do. But you can get a pretty sizable 16 or 20 liter into this Nothing bigger than that, because it just tend to bulk out the side, especially if you have something strapped onto the side here and you want to do that. It does tend to kind of bulk that out. So that is pretty much it for the rear. Now we're going to go to the front. Now we're going to go to the rear. You have a little hook here. I'll have to keep my carbine on this just for, so if I want to mount something onto it, I can do that. It's got its little pocket where you can like stick stuff in. It's got a little attachment here that you can put like a key or something in there, and then just tuck it away so it's not in the way. And again, you have these little latches on both sides, so you can attach things to it that way. And you also have it on the bottom as well. So you have one here, one there, one there, and one there, and one there. So I can't really think of anything I would actually use this with. But I would imagine you could probably mount something to it, like a tripod or something else, if you want to do that. Although I've never really seen anyone do that with it, but you can if you want to. And that's just basically what that is. Now, we're going to go to the top here. This is where you would store a lot of your GoPro gears, most of your GoPros and your batteries. So as you can see here, this gives you a lot of customization. These little flaps do tend to come out. So if you need to kind of reconfigure, you just simply just take and then reconfigure it any way you want to. You have a little piece right here that you can put like little things like extra batteries or your wipes for your GoPros if you want to wipe off your screen and whatnot. Those will fit nicely in that. Or you can just simply just use this piece right here for like 2 GoPros and then put your batteries there. But that is what that is. It's just a customizable storage bin for all your GoPro gear. And now we're going to go into the main compartment of the backpack, which is this right here. And as you can see, it's pretty spacious. This piece right here is another storage for smaller stuff. Like say you want to throw your SD cards in there, or you want to do some more wipes, or you want to throw your battery packs and whatnot in there. You can store it into there, as well as the same thing with this. And then there's a flap right here that you can put other extra gear in. And in terms of a laptop, that's literally as big as you can get. There's a little strap, as you can see, there's a little strap right here. Now, you can get it best with the backpack being as big as it is. At best, maybe a 14 or 15, depending on what you have. And usually you just slide it in there, and it just sits up right up under this. I've used this to pretty much just transport my GoPro, or not my GoPros, my Surface Go and my iPad Mini, as they are both small. But much larger laptops, like say a 15, you should be able to do. 17, not a chance. 14, so 15s and smaller, yes. GoPro, iPads, any iPad, including the iPad Pros, will all fit in this gear. So this is something that I definitely would recommend if you are taking your GoPros out and about. I'll have the link in the description on where you can get this at. It's called the GoPro Seeker. And you can handle all your GoPro gears, multiple stuff that you want to throw in there, your laptops, your iPads, whatever you want to throw on this, it will fit. So that is it. So if this video was helpful, please hit that thumbs up. If you're new, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that bell notification, as it does help my content and helps me create better videos. So again, my name is Black Opino the Apple Guy, and I'll have a link in the description again for all the accessories. And I'll also have some videos on the side if you aren't sure which GoPro you want to get, as opposed to like the 7 or like the white and all that. I'll have some comparisons of some GoPros that I have done. So if this video was helpful, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that bell notification, that way you don't miss content. And if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. And I want to thank everybody for watching this video. Enjoy the Memorial weekend, and I'll see you next video.